Some other news items now. Nueces County Commissioners today approved design work to repair water damage at the county courthouse. County Judge Barbara Canales saying it's an urgent problem that could impact safety if something isn't done. Specifically, there's water damage to the veneer of the building, which means crews will need to strip away and replace structural materials around the building, and especially on the tower where most of the damage seems to be on the 4th floor. Commissioners approved a little over $216,000 to be paid to a local engineering firm. Ultimately, they say repairs to the courthouse could cost up to $3 million.